Hello class, this is the introduction to 1,000 Wishes, which is our next cycle of lessons. And for this we are going to be looking at origami, conception, and Japan. A Thousand Wishes. We are going to begin at the beginning, the very beginning, when you first became you. And we're going to study a culture from across the world in a time that was hundreds of years ago. We're going to learn how to change 2 dimensions into 3 with one simple paper. And we're going to follow the roads from Edo to Hiroshima to Seattle to the International Space Station. So, because this is our first instructional unit, I'm going to explain to you components. Each unit is divided up into 3 different components. A component is another word for part. And each instructional unit has content, which deals with the human developmental stage and what the craft means. Context, which is cultural background, history, and relevance. And a studio component, which is your technical information and creating the craft. When you are here in your face-to-face cohort or working at home during your face-to-face cohort, that is when we do the studio time. The other 2, the content and the context, are both online. Each of the 3 components has 4 days of instruction divided into 2 and 2. So we're going to look at these components. Your first component is content. Well, it might be your first. It depends which cohort you're in. Content studies the human stage of conception, population laws, and the connection of conception to origami and Sadako. The component of context, we will study shogunate Japan and the arts of the samurai, the different types and uses of origami, and how origami connects to contemporary science. For the studio component, you're going to learn 3 basic folds used to create origami. We will independently then experiment with creating both aesthetic, which is beautiful origami, and technical, which is useful origami. I will teach you the 3 basic folds. We will do that together in your first 2 studio days. If you are working online, there is both a video and a step-by-step slideshow of how to do them. They're pretty easy, but they are important parts of learning how to do much more complex things. And then for the next 2 studio days, you will be experimenting and independently working on developing more complex folds. So the basic information for the unit, and this you will see in all of the presentations. The content is conception, which is the ages -9 to 0. The context are who is samurais, the what is origami, where, Japan. Our time period is the Edo period, which lasts from about 1660 to 1860. Why? Sacrifice for a wish, and we'll go more into that later. That's not all origami. That's a very specific type of origami that has to do with samurais and conception. And how is folded paper. Grading and assessment. For your formative grades, your content, you have 100 points altogether online. That's 25 points for each of the 4 days. Context, 100 points online. Again, 25 points for the days. And studio, 100 points of classwork. That's formative studio, where you are learning the folds and experimenting. Your summative project is due February 3rd. And I will explain about that when we are in that stage of studio. And the studio part of the summative is 100 points, and your written response part of the summative is 100 points. It is very important that you keep up with the daily work. It is much easier to devote the less than an hour online each day to the class than it is to try to sit down and make up a lot of assignments and then deal with grade deductions for being late and whatnot. As always, remember you can contact me by email or by text. Text is best if you need an immediate answer at any time. After school, before school, weekends is fine. Okay, so this is studio information for people working online only. There is a material request form posted. This is for everybody who does not come to school at all. They work only online. This is also if you usually come to school, but for some reason you're not going to during this cohort for whatever reason, or if you are come to school but you have to leave all the time, like to go to athletics or what have you. The form will let me know that you need materials, and if you want to pick them up here at school or if you want me to deliver them to you, they usually go into a mailbox, an idea of color choices you want, and what address to deliver to, and a contact number. This is very important. If you do not do this, and I know that you are online all the time, I will gather the materials together and deliver them to your PowerSchool address if I don't have any information from you. But I would much rather you take some choice about your colors and things like that and make sure that I know where to deliver them. So this is our general schedule, and yes, I know it looks very confusing, and it's mostly for my organization, but you can look at it as well. So here we are today. This is the introduction. Everybody's at the same spot. Wednesdays are your online work days. Remember, I usually don't post assignments on Wednesdays, so that you have that time to get your assignments that are posted finished. So again, there's no excuse for late work. And then when you look at each day, you can find what cohort you're in, A, B, or C, and what we are doing. So when we start with this on Thursday, C is here face-to-face at school, and they will be doing this first part of the studio project on Thursday and Friday. While A and B are online, A is doing the content part and learning about consumption and population control and things like that. And B is doing the context part and learning about Shogunate Japan and the samurais. Okay? So those are your first 2 days of instruction. And then when we go next week, A is in studio for Monday and Tuesday, and B and C are online work day. B is in studio for Thursday and Friday. A and C are online, and by this point everybody has done 2 days of each of the components. After that, we go on to the next set of components and rotate through those. And then on Wednesday, which would be 8, 9, 10. February 10th, your summative project is due, and which is your summative studio project and the written response to it. And it will also have the introduction to your next cycle posted. Okay? So that's it. Please, please, please remember to fill out that information, the material request form, if you are doing the studio part at home. If you're coming to school, don't worry about it because you will be giving your materials here at school. Okay, thank you.